I wasn't satisfied that that would be the final word on the subject, because Mazars are the internal auditors to the Development Board. So it would have been nice to have somebody externally look at that. But as was just said by Mr. O'Sullivan, he said to me, that's not possible in the time available. There's just too much work involved in that. You're explaining and justifying something that I'm not asking at this point. But what I am explaining is that there's two different jobs that PwC have done. Well, no, we might come to that now in a minute, and the Chair will have more time to tease out that. But at this point, the PwC made a conclusion in November. They made a similar conclusion that they weren't asked for, in fact, by their terms of reference. That's a good point. Well, I'm delighted, Mr. Breslin. I'm glad I made one good point. No, it is a good point. Yeah. It's been missed, but it is a good point. Yeah. So, I'm better when you're given out to me, Mr. Breslin. I've caught you off guard. In any...
I must have missed a good point. But it must be worth repeating if Mr. Breslin.
You can get him to repeat it, I'm sure, Deputy Chairman, in your time. At this point, before I lose my train of thought, PwC come back. They were given terms of reference. They would hope that they would do a fairly good report for $500,000. It's unfortunate that they're repeating what Mazars had said to a great extent, aren't they? Anyway, to stick with the point, they come forward then and they give a conclusion that they'd already given in November through yourselves. Isn't that right? Isn't that right? So the perception of that, and now we're looking at governance. We're looking at ability to challenge. We're looking at preventing this happening in the future. And Mr. Barry, we're looking forward to you learning to challenge these things so that... But they retained their independence, and the core of the second task was to do a look-back exercise on the escalation and to review 2,000 documents as they did, to try and find out exactly what happened and what were the weaknesses in that. So that was the core of it. As you said, they also threw in a bit about whether you couldn't have done anything different. That, if you like, wasn't in the terms of reference. It was obiter. It was a little bit off the point. They made a little bit off the point. It was the very point that the government picked out to justify going forward. You don't expect you to comment on that, but that was the official commentary from government. And the PwC have now concluded. But as I said in my opening statement, the value of the work they've done is in the detailed look back and the identification of weaknesses that we would address going forward, not in the decision which government made for or against. Thank you.